Welcome back. African Americans have fought in every American war from the Revolutionary War onwards, their contributions often overlooked and diminished. This summer, a statue honoring the first African American and indigenous brigadier general in the state was unveiled in Nubian Square. Brigadier General Edward Gourdine served in the 372nd Infantry Regiment during World War II and the 272nd Field Artillery Battalion in the Massachusetts National Guard. Gourdine was also the first Black and indigenous judge in the state's Superior Court and an Olympic silver medalist. Over in Hyde Park, a memorial to the 54th Massachusetts Regiment, the first regiment of African Americans from the North to serve during the Civil War. They bravely fought for the Union, repelling Confederate advances. Now, over in the South End of Boston, the Puerto Rican Veterans Monument Square Association is celebrating 10 years since the unveiling of the memorial that honors both the men and the women of Puerto Rican descent who have served. And joining us now is Dr. Isaias Sepulveda, an Army veteran, former psychiatrist from the VA in Brockton, and vice president of the Puerto Rican Veterans Monument Square Association. How are you today?
I'm doing well, and thank you for having me here.
Thank you so much for being here. So this monument is the first in the United States to honor both the men and women of Puerto Rico who served. How were you able to get that honor here in Boston, and why did it take so long?
It's a long story, but we have been working over 15 years, but was unveiled 10 years ago after multiple aids from multiple local organization, political organization as well. And finally, we have a monument honoring the first one in the whole United States territory. We have in Puerto Rico, but in the United States territory is the first one.
Hard to believe. Puerto Ricans also have a very long history of serving in the United States military. Share a little bit of the history, if you will, of the, let me get the pronunciation right, Borinqueniers?
The Borinqueniers is the nickname that the 65th Infantry Regiment had during Korean War. We served very hand-to-hand. Matter of fact, the first mission that the 65th Infantry Regiment got was to relieve a Marine unit that was pinpoint ambushed, and we were able to get them. Lucky to say that I had the honor to interview one of the veterans, one of the Marines, and he was very happy when he was able to be relieved. And the funny thing I always remember, he says, I know they were talking some kind of funny language, but I didn't care. They got me out. So he was very happy, and that was one of the things that the 65th Infantry Regiment, and we have been in every conflict that we have, the United States have been all conflicts.
And that's so important to talk about. Let me ask you, what does it mean to the Puerto Rican community in Boston to have ties and to have this memorial? How does it tie to the struggle to be fully recognized for the Puerto Rican community's contribution to the United States?
Yes, a lot of people, and that is one of the main things that we want to do with this monument. We want to give and instruct and give knowledge to the people who are the Puerto Ricans and how we have contributed, not only in the armed forces, but in every side of the community for the benefit of all the Bostonians. But having this is a way that we have become from a monument, but also like a plaza, because we have there honoring a bust honoring Roberto Clemente, who most people don't know that he was a Marine, and he was
before he was in baseball.
Before he was in baseball, and he's the only one person who has been inducted in the Hall of Fame of the Baseball Hall of Fame, and also as the Marine Hall of Fame. Roberto Clemente, we have the bust, we have a list of all the Medal of Honors, about 8 or 10, I think it's 9 Medal of Honors that we have had there, and we have many places trying to recognize
the important people from the community. You know, we talked all today about caring for veterans. Boston City Council attempted to cut $900,000 of veterans funding from the city's budget this past week. The association president, your association president, Tony Molina, expressed his frustration in the Boston Herald this week. Your thoughts?
Of course, Tony has been our president, and definitely that is something that will be sad to see that happens, that it should not happen. We should, instead of cutting veterans funds, giving more veterans funds to not only the Puerto Rican, but all veterans.
All right. Now, you're hosting an event on Veterans Day. Aside from the food and the celebration, will there be any services there offered to your veterans?
Oh, of course. We are going to be, like always, we have a ceremony where we included all the local political people who have given support to us, but also we will be given the kind of a taste of the Puerto Rican food.
So it's going to be a fun day.
Yes,
Come
a fun
out.
day and dancing. We have a
Yes.
band and
Have some fun and get some information at the same time.
Yes, exactly.
Dr.
It's going to be from.
I'm going to tell everybody.
Yes,
Dr.
yes.
Sepulveda, thank you for joining us, and let's get the information. The Puerto Rican Veterans Memorial event is from 12 to 3 on Saturday in the South End, and you can find more information on our website at wcvb.com/cityline. Now, make sure to join Channel 5 all day Thursday, November 9th for our annual Helping Veterans Heal Televent. To benefit Home Base, it's a Red Sox Foundation Mass General Hospital program dedicated to healing the invisible wounds of war for veterans of all eras. Last year, we raised $200,000, and we're going to be sharing stories all day long, beginning Thursday at 6 a.m. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and X at Cityline 5, and you can follow me on X at Karen Holmes Ward. Have a great afternoon.